It has been a couple of days, and the last video I said the mind is trapped in a circle, in a cage of its own making. We talked about the relationship between the self and gratification and identification. I've let that thought sit down for a while now, and I think I've come to some realizations which I think might be helpful to anyone. So, there is one thing that I realized recently, last night. Not last night, but I have been having the awareness of this for a while now. There is this sort of a primal urge deep within me, which is always active, very, very active. I've written it down. The primal force which wants to do something. That is how I describe it, right? Now, this leads to me wanting something at all times, right? We all want something. It could be materialistic, idealistic, anything. We all want something. We want a lot of things, right? We can question, what do I want? What do I seek? We can question this. But also, you see, wanting something is the same as seeking something. So when I ask myself, what do I want? Right? That is also a form of seeking. I want to know what do I want. Before you simply want, now you want what you want to know what you want, which is also a form of seeking, right? And then you might start making some discoveries when you're seeking this. What do you want? For some it might be materialistic, for some that might not be enough. For some, a religion might be good enough for them to give peace. For some, an enclosing philosophy will give them peace. For some, it might not be enough. For some, nothing will not be enough. If nothing satiates you, you start to seek more. You ask, why do I want? Right? That's a thinker, isn't it? Okay, why do I want? You know, it's very interesting that there is this need to want at all. You ask yourself, why do I want things? And what is interesting about this? When you ask, why do I want? That is also a want. Now you are seeking to find out why you want. Do you see the ridiculousness of it all? Right? So, yes, I just had a little break, sipped some tea, was feeling a bit sleepy. But now, I left off with this thought. You start to question, why do I want? Then you realize, when you ask yourself why you want, that also is still a form of seeking, right? It almost seems as if seeking is something which will always be present. It is as if seeking is the only thing there is. you know, not having. That's what I've written down. There is only seeking. Seeking is the only thing there is. And, and then we can look at some fun facts further down the line, right? After I had this realization, I immediately launched Sekiro and I started playing it. Now, when I'm playing Sekiro, there is something that I actively seek all the time. I want to make this jump. I want to parry this guy at the right time. I do not want to die. And then I was just looking at it, and then I was realizing how much I was seeking while playing that game, right? So many aspects. I wanted to make this jump at a specific way. I was seeking it. And then there was this blazing bull or something. It was kicking my ass constantly. And then I feared dying to it, right? I feared dying to it. I was dying constantly, but also I was fearing dying to it. I was fearing getting hit. I was fearing to parry. And I realized fear is also a form of seeking. Basically, while I was in a fight, insecure, I was fighting this bull, I set myself a sort of a rule or code or a principle. I do not want to die. I do not want to get hit. I want to defeat this enemy. Right? These are all some codes that I set myself. These are all some things which I actively seek. So set myself a code. I do not want to die in this game. Now that is something which I'm seeking. So since I'm seeking to not die, since I'm seeking to not get hit, since I'm seeking to parry perfectly, right? You start to see where fear really comes from. Fear is simply a form of seeking. That is what it is. And then, furthermore, I was looking into it, and then I realized, damn, right now, there's a difficult jump to do at this game. Now I seek to take this difficult jump. I can see that. And then now I automatically do not actively, I'm seeking to not seek that state right now. So like I'm trying to jump while also at the same time not really caring about the results of it all. Not really actively pursuing, not really seeking to take that jump, but also at the same time trying to make the jump. Like I'm trying to seek without seeking it. Right? When you see that you're seeking something and it's making you suffer, you want to not seek that thing, which is once again still seeking. Right? That is another fun fact. Now, as I was playing this game overall, I just had a sudden realization. I was seeing, right, constantly whatever I'm trying to seek at a moment, right? I was looking at the whole picture right now, but without me knowing myself, right now, what I was doing was simply trying to seek what I'm seeking. I'm simply seeking to see what I'm seeking. I'm simply trying to find out. I want to know what I want in this moment, which is also a form of seeking. And I just did not realize it for some times. I was deceived by myself to seek once again, right? And this further cemented the idea in me. And I've written this out in my sticky note. I stuck it on my laptop. See this here. Your very nature is to only seek. It is something you cannot run away from. It is your nature to seek. cannot run away from it. Even when you think that you aren't seeking, you are still doing. Just that you have deceived yourself to think that you are not seeking, but you're still actively doing it, pursuing it. Right? So that leads me to the realization that your very nature is to only seek. Now, I want to talk some more. I had some more realizations recently about how do I say? Just we'll apply some basic logic into this seeking aspect, right? So, when you naturally seek something, you either get it or you don't get it, right? So, when we don't get what you want, that is basically suffering. You don't get what you are seeking. Now that is what we call a suffering. Simple, makes sense, right? And then we get to the other part. What happens when you get what you want, right? When we get what you want. I went to a supermarket and I bought a Mars bar. Still have one. I bought 3. Still have one, right? Never mind that. I hope it's alright. I do not have a camera stand. Either way. Okay. As you were saying, I was looking for this Mars bar. I will not open the drawer again. I do not want my phone to fall off. Okay. So, in this situation, I went to a supermarket. I get a Mars bar. I get what I want. And then I open it. And then I take a bite. So what happens when you obtain it? I see that there's just this good feeling washing over. You take a bite out of it and then it just feels good, man. You know. And then that is basically gratification, isn't it? Right? So it just made sense to me. Oh, so this feeling is why I seek. I want to sustain this feeling as many times as I want, as long as I want. That is why I seek. Why I am seeking gratification, right? And can I add another fun fact to it, right? So ultimately, deeply, we want to seek so that we do not want to seek anymore. It sounds cool, doesn't it? I seek once and then I do not want to seek anymore. We apply this logic in a lot of areas. I earn enough money to live off my rest of the life, and then I'll stop working, something like that. We seek to not seek anymore. We like this idea a lot, right? So what is it? If I break this down, basically we're trying to seek something which is permanent, lasting. Because when we go back to the previous example of the Mars bar, the amount of gratification it gave me was only for a very short time, only until I finished that Mars bar, right? So, now, after I finished it, I want to seek again something else to make me feel gratified again. That's the base of it. So, when I say that we seek to not seek anymore, basically we're trying to seek something permanent, something lasting, something which can give that feeling of gratification for a longer time, preferably permanently. Okay, we just love the concept of everlasting permanence, immortality. We just love that concept. So the more lasting something seems, the more lasting or permanence something seems, the more we are attracted to it, right? We seek money because it seems to give off the idea that it can provide that feeling for a long time. We seek to have a healthy body because, once again, it gives off this aura of permanence, a longevity, if you will. And in the same way, we seek God. For someone who is all alone in the world, who has no one to rely on, he would want to have someone with him. And then we call it God. And we like it to be permanent, right? We are so allured to this concept of permanence. Ultimately, we want to seek something which will give us lasting, everlasting gratification. Right. So that was a huge, segue is the word. But I wanted to stop with the main idea that your very nature is to only seek. You cannot escape it. If you are there, then there is seeking. That is the core of it all. Thank you so much.